Everybody, thanks for stopping in today to learn a little bit more about MeetEdgar, our social media scheduling tool. My name is Megan, and I'm an onboarding coach at Edgar, which means I have the pleasure of helping our community get their accounts set up for social media success. And today we're going to start by just taking a tour around the MeetEdgar account that we use to promote our own scheduler, because of course we believe in our tool and love to use it for our own social media content. So we'll jump right in today, and feel free to let us know if you do have questions along the way in the chat to the right. And I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. So when you first come into Edgar, what's going to happen is you'll go to this Accounts tab right up here. And the Accounts tab in Edgar is where you're going to hook up the social media profiles that you would like Edgar to post to. So we connect with Facebook pages and groups, Instagram accounts, LinkedIn profiles and pages, and Twitter accounts. Super simple. You'll just locate the page you would like Edgar to hook up with. Go ahead and click on the rectangle here, and Edgar will grab the username and password from you. One thing we do have to mention here is you do have to be an admin of any groups and pages you're adding to Edgar. So you can see when I click on that Groups and Pages tab for Facebook, I can then come in, select the groups and pages I would like to add to Edgar, scroll on down, and click to connect to Edgar. So once all of your social media accounts are hooked up in Edgar, you do get 25 of them you can hook up with one Edgar account. You'll have the ability now to start to add your content. So when you add content to Edgar, we do it on a category-based system. So that's what this tab next to the Accounts tab is for. So your Categories tab are essentially going to be the buckets of posts, the types of posts you like to send out to your followers throughout the day and week. From here, when you log into an Edgar account, you'll see that there are 6 predetermined categories, but we'd really recommend you customize these to match your own brand's needs. So you can click on this pencil icon to go ahead and rename a category, or you can click this Add New Category button to add your own in here. These will make a little more sense when we look over the schedule, but I just want you to think about following that all-important 80-20 rule when it comes to social media and how these categories can help you accomplish that, being that 80% of your posts should be really value-adding posts, so educational, entertaining, inspirational posts, where 20% can be a little bit more promotional, getting people to sign up for your newsletter, getting people to buy your product or service, and scheduling them on a category-based system can make that so much easier. So once you get your accounts hooked up and your categories set, our next step is going to be to start loading your content into our library. So there's 4 main ways you can load content into Edgar. The first is going to be to click on this Add New Content button in the upper right-hand corner here. When I click to add content, you can see what I do first is check off the accounts I'd like this to go to over here on the left. So this is giving this post permission to go to these accounts. If something over here is not checked off, Edgar will never send it there. So a great way to separate either network-specific posts, or if you're using this for multiple brands, you always have the ability to select the accounts this post is going to. You're then going to select the category, so the type of post that this is, and you're going to go ahead and write the post in this text box here. If you'd like to upload a photo or a video from your computer, these icons in the lower left-hand corner will allow you to do that. You can see we give all the specifications for the networks and the amount of content that they allow to be uploaded at once. So we got your back there. Then in this section here, if you do have a link, so if I wanted to share the MeetEdgar website here, edgar.com, it'll go ahead and allow you to see what that post is going to look like for like a Facebook preview under this preview tab right here. This will allow you to see what it's going to look like so that you're able to know, let me get that W out of there, what the post will actually look like once it is sent out to the social networks. Once you're happy with how your post looks, you're going to save it to your library. So your library in Edgar is essentially just a catalog of all of the posts you have added. Everything that you add to your library will always remain in here. Things you can do in the library is filter it by category. You can go ahead and filter it by account permissions. All of this fun stuff can be accomplished in the library, like searching with keywords up here in the top. Another thing in the library that's super helpful is our bulk edit feature. So when I bulk edit a post in Edgar, what that's going to do is allow me to do things like add or remove account connections. So if you added a bunch of blog posts and forgot to attach an account, no worries, bulk edit's got your back here. Or you can change content categories in bulk as well. So this section can be helpful. Again, these upper level social icons will let you add or remove the account connections in one swoop. And this category drop-down menu will let you change the content category in one swoop. The other ways you can actually get content into Edgar are going to be under this import tab here. So the import tab will allow you to do things like upload a spreadsheet of content, as well as use our RSS feature. So when you're uploading a spreadsheet of content, what you're going to do is make a spreadsheet. The first column is just going to be the status update. So anything that you'd like Edgar to say. The second column is going to be the category you would like it to go into. You'll come to your import tab here, and you'll notice you can select that spreadsheet you just went into import. And upon uploading it, Edgar will prompt you for the account connection. So it's a great way to get a bunch of blog posts, a bunch of tips or quotes into the library all at once. The other thing in our import tab here is our RSS feed reader. This is one of my favorite features of Edgar. What this is going to allow you to do is pop in a URL of a blog or a website that you would like to share content from. So this could be your own blog, or this could be other people's blogs if you're curating content in your niche. How this is going to work is if I wanted to share all of the MeetEdgar blog posts, I'm just going to put our URL in here. I'm going to click on Find RSS Feed, at which point Edgar will say, great, there's an RSS feed connected. What category would you like these posts to go into? What accounts would you like them to have permission to go out to? So super similar to as you are adding content manually. And then you have another option, and that is to send these posts directly to your library, which means they'll go right into your library and be eligible to go out in the rotation of your posts, which we'll look at in a minute. Or if this is someone else's blog and you want the ability to approve or reject these posts first, I always recommend sending it to a pending content queue. And what this will allow for is that approval process. Your pending content queue is going to live in your library. And how all these RSS feeds, you can see here, we like to curate social media content because we know our followers are really going to want to be kept up to date on that social media landscape. So as we add this to our pending content queue, Edgar's going to check whatever URLs you've put in here every 24 hours. And if a new post has been released within that time frame, he'll automatically pull it over into your pending content queue in the library. So you can see in the library here, the pending content queue is going to be in this second tab. And it'll always let you know if you have posts brought over by the RSS feed because it'll show you a little number above it. When I go to my pending content queue, nothing from here will be eligible to send out until I approve it, I reject it, or I edit it. So you can see it brings in the title of the blog post as well as the URL. If this is something I'd like to share, I can approve it into my library. If it's not something I want to share, I can reject it, or I can edit it if I wanted to go in and add anything beyond just the title of the blog post. So it's a great way to get that curated content automatically either going to your library or going to your pending content section. So there is one more way of adding content into Edgar, and that's going to be with our extension. So if I go to a blog post, so this is obviously just a random content blog post online. So you could be out searching the internet and looking for great content to curate. If you'd like to add this into your Edgar library, you'll notice I have this little Edgar extension in my toolbar. And when I click on this, it'll pop up the Add New Content box right on this blog post where I'm able to go in, check off the accounts I'd like Edgar to send this to, select the category that I'd like him to post this to, and again, make any changes that I'd like to add in beyond just the title of the blog post. Scroll down, and I can save it to my library right from here. Guys, this is a huge time saver as you're going throughout your social media curation period to be able to add these right from there. So I definitely recommend downloading that. Once you do get content into the MeetEdgar library, your next step is going to be to tell Edgar when to send that content out. So there's two main ways of scheduling your content in Edgar. The first is going to be under the Schedule tab here. So this Schedule tab is really great for what we call evergreen content. That's stuff that makes sense to send out no matter what time of year it is. It's always going to offer value to your followers, and it's going to be repeatable content, hence that evergreen part. And why this is so important is because this is your set it and forget it best friend when it comes to Edgar. You'll notice it's a 1 week view here. However, this week does repeat over and over again, so you do only have to set it up once. Super simple. You'll just locate where you would like that content to go out. So say Tuesday at 8 a.m., I want a piece of content to go out. I'm just going to click into that area on my schedule. What's going to happen next is I'm going to tell Edgar which accounts this time slot has permission to send to. So similar to when you're adding content, you can always alter the day and time up here if you'd like. And then you're going to select the type of post you want to go out at this time. So these are those categories that you set. You're going to go ahead and click on Save, and that will now appear as a time slot on your calendar. So how these time slots are actually working with the library is what we call a last in, first out rotation. So Edgar's going to be going along here. He'll hit this time slot. The most recent update you added to that category in your library will be the first update Edgar sends out to the accounts attached. He'll then put it to the end of the line in that category and move along. Next time he hits that category on the schedule, he'll send the next update out, put it to the end of the line and move along. And he's going to work his way through all of the content within that category in the library. Once he reaches the bottom and there's no new posts, that's when he's going to start from the top again and resurface your older content for new followers to see, as well as those who didn't have the opportunity to see it the first time, or even more so, to click through on that the first time. And where this idea really comes from is out of the idea that only about 10% of your followers ever see anything you post on social media. So the more often you're able to put that hard work into creating quality updates, and you don't want it to just set it and forget it to send out once, it's this idea of write once, promote twice. So you're getting more out of the updates you're writing. So as you're doing this, some good math to remember is often going to repeat. It's all based upon the ratio of how much you have in that category in the library versus how many times you place it on your schedule. So say I have 10 pieces of content in my blog post category, and I put that on my schedule here once, I'll know that it'll be 10 weeks before Edgar starts to recycle content. If I put it on my schedule twice, I know it'll be 5 weeks before Edgar starts to recycle content. If I'm continuously adding new content, either manually or through those RSS feeds, that new content will always be promoted to your social networks before Edgar recycles through the older content. And as you're getting set up, an awesome place to hang out is going to be this Q tab right here. So this Q tab is going to show you the exact posts that are being pulled from the library based on those time slots on the schedule. And what this will really allow for is for you to come in, see the date, and see the post going out. The Q tab will allow you to pause it at any time, which will stop automation. You can sort the queue to see what posts are going out from a different category or to a certain account. The skip button that's on all your posts, that looks like a little fast forward button. What this will do is it'll put the post to the end of the line in the category and pull in the next one. So if you're scrolling through your queue and you just see something that makes sense to have in the rotation, but not great for today, you can always skip it that way as well. So I did say there were 2 ways of scheduling content in Edgar. So that way we just went over your weekly repeating schedule is your set it and forget it best friend. You're making these content categories go out to get that robust 80-20 schedule. But we also know you might have like a 1-day promotion, or you might want to schedule out all of your holiday posts for the month or for the year, excuse me. And what you're going to do for that is schedule them as a one-off, one-time post. And how you do that in Edgar is on the content level itself. So when I click to add new content here, similar to when we were looking before, you're going to just check off the accounts you'd like this to go out to. You're going to select the category, the type of post it is. And under this advanced settings drop-down menu, you'll notice that you can do one of 2 things here, which is mark this post as a use once post, which means once Edgar sends it out once, he'll automatically retire it. You can use this with your weekly repeating schedule. How a lot of people will use this is for curated content. If they just like to send it out once and have it be retired, you can go ahead and mark those posts as used once. How another great way of using this tool here is for holiday posts. So I can go ahead and write my holiday post in this section here, whatever you'd like it to say, Happy New Year, Happy Mother's Day, all of that fun stuff. And you'll notice next to the Save to Library button, I have this little drop-down arrow. So if I click this drop-down arrow, the second selection here says Schedule, Send, and Save. So when I click to schedule, send, and save this, I'm able to populate a day and time when I'd like this post to send out. If this section here is populated, Edgar's going to hold this post until this day and time is reached. at which point he's going to send it to whatever networks you have attached over here. And if use once is checked off, he'll automatically retire it. So again, awesome for your one-day promotions or your holiday content, getting them all scheduled out at once here. If use once is not checked off and you use this schedule, send, and save option, Edgar will hold the post until the day and time is reached, send it to whatever accounts you have checked off over here, and then put it to the end of the line to go back into the rotation based on your weekly repeating schedule. So 2 other options here that we haven't looked at yet is you can also expire content in Edgar. So if you're setting a post to go out on the weekly repeating schedule and you'd like to keep it in that evergreen rotation, however, say in 6 months from now, you don't want that blog post to go out anymore, you can place that day and time under your advanced settings menu here. Go ahead and populate the day and time you'd like this post not to send out anymore. Edgar will go ahead and take it out of the rotation. It'll still live in your library, so you can always go back and unexpire it if you like, but it'll just be in the library grayed out with a little expiration tag on it for you there. The last way of sending out a post in Edgar is the Send Now feature that we have. So you might have noticed this when we went to this drop-down arrow for that schedule, send, and save for your holiday posts. But the Send Now and Save feature is great if you find an article you'd like to blast out to all of your social accounts at once. What you're going to do is go ahead and check off the social media accounts you'd like it to go out to. Go ahead and click Send Now and Save. And what will happen is Edgar will send that post to all of those accounts a minute after you press this button. And then it'll go back into the library at the end of the line in whatever category it's assigned to. Or, of course, you can mark it as a use once post. So once Edgar sends it, after you click that Send Now button, he'll automatically retire it. So lots of really flexible options in Edgar. You know, beyond just the schedule, send, and save and your weekly repeating schedule, a lot of our community members get really creative with the way that they're accomplishing speaking to what's going on in the trending news and in the season by creating specific categories like summertime blog posts or motivational Monday categories, stuff like that. And why these can be really helpful is just remembering in order for posts to send from the library, it's all going to be based on when that category appears on your schedule. So if you have a category for, say, your summertime posts, you can load all of those posts into that category in Edgar ahead of time and just leave that category off of your schedule. Once that season rolls around, you can come to your schedule tab and you can go ahead and pop that category onto your schedule. Edgar will send out the posts in the last in, first out rotation until that day and time that you want to not send those summertime posts comes. Just come back to your schedule, click into the time slot, and go ahead and delete it. And again, those posts can remain in your library until the next season rolls around. So again, lots of flexibility. We also have a lot of these workflows in our Help Center that you can always reach from this drop-down menu under your name. If you go to our Help Center and type in things like seasonal content, that setup process that I just described will be right there for you as well. There are a couple of other things that I'd love to touch on today, and that is going to be some specifics around Twitter and Instagram. So Twitter is a special case in Edgar because Twitter does have a term of service that says you can't send the same tweet to the same Twitter account more than once anymore. So for this reason, we have everything set up to keep you in compliance with that term of service. So once Edgar does send a tweet out, he's automatically going to retire it for you. However, we still would love for you to be able to reshare your evergreen content on social media, including Twitter. So that's why Edgar built what's called our variations feature. So there's 2 ways of using this. You'll notice right here in the lower left corner, I have this add variation button. So if I have this post right here, post for Twitter, written here, and I'd like to reshare this post on Twitter, what I have to do is click to add a variation, and you'll notice a second text box pops up, where I'm able to alter the language a little bit, but still share that same message, whether it be a quote, whether it be a tip, whether it be a thought leadership item, or a blog post that you're introducing with a different question, a different headline, anything to alter that text. And this way, when this entire post is up in the rotation of your posts, Edgar will have 1 variation to share, and then he'll retire it. The next time, it's going to share the next variation and then retire it for Twitter. So again, this is a great way to stay in compliance with Twitter's terms of service, but still get to reshare all of your awesome content. The variations feature is also really cool because we have what we call auto-generate variations for posts with links in them. So if I go ahead and grab a URL, I'm able to go in and actually have Edgar go and post for me. Let me go ahead and grab one. I thought I had one queued up there, but didn't. So if I go and grab a URL, this is going to be from our blog, but could be from anyone's blog you find online. You'll notice I get this auto-generate variations feature pop up. So if I click to auto-generate variations, Edgar does some cool magic and goes ahead and pulls out 5 different pull quotes from within that article to add as these variations for you. So it's a huge time saver, and it makes it a little bit more authentic when you're resharing the same message on Twitter. Because when it comes down to it, this change in their algorithm that they did made in terms of service really is to provide more of a safe space for real connections with your audience and to cut down on spamming and to cut down on clickbait. So if you are someone who likes to reshare things on Twitter, your variations feature is going to be amazing for you. This variations feature will work for LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram as well. So definitely feel free to test out messaging with this. One of the coolest things about this is in your history tab in Edgar too, it'll really help you hone in on the language that resonates with your audience. So you can see in your history tab here, we have a few different analytics that you can check into. This all-time clicks tab over here on the right is my favorite, and this is just going to show you the amount of clicks that each link received. I can go ahead and click on this title, and it'll go ahead and sort my history tab to show me the links that have received the most clicks down to the least clicks. And if I wanted to dig a little bit deeper, I can also go ahead and click on the View Performance History button that you see right here. And when I click to View Performance History, it's going to go ahead and give me a little bit more information about the variation that was sent out and how those clicks occurred per each variation. So if I scroll down here, you can see that it's going to graph out when those clicks occurred. And all of these are the different variations that this post had. And it'll even rank which variation got the most clicks and which variation got the least clicks. And this is golden information to come in here and say, okay, it looks like this first variation was sent out in the morning, where this last variation was sent out in the evening. Maybe this is informing me that my community reads more in the morning, so I should cluster my blog posts in the morning and maybe do some more videos or do some more sort of just visual text posts in the evening. Stuff like that is really going to speak right to what your audience wants to consume when, because when it comes down to it, your community is driving that sort of social media goal. So you really want to make sure you're listening to them, whether it's getting your click-through rates, seeing that engagement, and that can all be found right here in your history tab. So one other thing that I did mention in this history tab here is going to be your weekly reports. So having a strategy in mind when going into social media and using a system like Edgar is really cool to see time over time how your posts are doing to increase your followers. And Edgar gives you a good view of that in these little weekly reports that you can click on here for this date range. And he'll pop up showing you how much content you sent that week, how many clicks occurred, and how many followers you lost or gained that week. And it's all about experimenting. So having all of these in your history tab here with this information always accessible is a great way to watch time over time how your efforts are paying off. One last thing for Instagram specifically, when you're adding content to Edgar for Instagram, we do it through push notifications. And what this allows for is for you to come on in, go ahead and load up all of your content, connect it to Instagram here. You're going to select the photos that you'd like to post from your computer with this little photo icon. Write your status update. Super nice being able to type that out on the computer rather than just using your thumbs. Save it to your library. You're going to schedule it on your computer as well. So in these time slots on your schedule, just making sure they are connected to your Instagram account, making sure those permissions are set up properly. From there, when an Instagram post is ready to send out, Edgar is actually going to send you a push notification, at which point you're just going to swipe that push notification and Edgar will automatically copy the video or photo to your camera roll. Edgar will automatically copy the text of that post to your clipboard. From the Edgar app, you just need to click to post to Instagram, where you can choose to post it to your story or to your feed. filter the photo however you like, and just tap in that text box to paste the text. It's a super simple process. And again, in our Help Center here, we have an overview of how that will work. If you come to our Help Center and just type in Instagram, that'll go ahead and pop up where you can download that app and also how that Instagram feature works. So Edgar is truly a great platform for being able to batch out your content ahead of time, have your library full of it, schedule that weekly repeating schedule. So again, your time can really be spent on creating quality content, on getting that out to your followers. We are, of course, here and happy to help you get set up at any time. If you did want to start an Edgar account, go ahead and email support@meetedgar.com if you do have further questions. Like I said, I'm an onboarding coach here. So once you have your own account, I'm more than happy to pop on a screen share, go over the best setup processes for you, since it is a pretty flexible platform to accomplish your goals. Guys, I'm super grateful for you guys jumping on in to the webinar today. And if you do have more questions, like I said, we're always available over email. I'm always available to help chat through the setup process on your account. And we would love to hear more of your questions and social media goals. Hope to see you guys soon, and let us know what else we can do to help. Bye, guys.